And welcome to another Kanikapila live ukulele jam with me, Matt Stead, this lovely Monday evening. Hope you're all doing well. Just before we get started, I'll just do a little bit of a noodle, nothing fancy, and you can just let me know if the sound is all right, and then we'll get started straight afterwards. Wow, I hope you're all doing well. It is kind of wild weather out here today. I was just saying to everyone, it feels a little bit like we've had 4 seasons in one day here. It's 1 minute it's like 20 degrees Celsius, which is still not hot for this time of year, really. And all the butterflies are out. I've had some beautiful butterflies today. And then suddenly the clouds come in and I'm chillier. I mean, tonight I'm in my cardigan and I actually feel quite chilly in here tonight, which is bit mad, isn't it, for the middle of the summer? But hopefully we'll all warm ourselves up with some beautiful, beautiful tunes. Oh, hi, John. Meant to say I got your email earlier. It just got a bit lost in the flood of everything today, but we will sort that out. Really excited about seeing you again in a couple of weeks, mate. So I hope you're doing well. So let's see who else we got here. We got Beth, which is great. Beth's just tuning up. We've got Karen and Mike. Hi guys. Picture perfect in Milwaukee. Lovely, jubbly. Hi Leslie. Hope you're doing well. Checking in from Rhode Island. Love it, love it. Hope you're keeping well. We can do loads of fun songs tonight. We've got 4 songs tonight. And we've got a real kind of variety. We've got some like 90s indie music. We've got some punk from 1979, believe it or not. Got some beautiful kind of laid back 60s Kinks stuff as well. So all sorts of stuff happening, which is great. Gosh, there's so many of you. I can't keep up with you all tonight. Hi everyone. Hi James. Hi Peter. Good to see you. Hi Bev. Hi Bev. Hope you're keeping well. I'll go over everything in a minute. There's always a little bit of buffering at the start, so fingers crossed that should settle down after 5 minutes or so. So let's let's have a look at our sheets, and I just realised that's embarrassing. I didn't bring my sheets up. Oh no! Give me a second, guys. I just need to get them off my phone and bring them onto the screen. That's a bit daft. So if you haven't already downloaded these are available in the description, or you can find them in the comments at the top as well. I've put them there. Whilst I'm just desperately trying to get these sheets on screen, I normally get this all prepared in advance. I forgot today. Just a little reminder that tickets have gone on sale for both the retreat and the Ukulele Festival of Great Britain now. So if you're interested in either of those, get in soon. Here we go. And I'm going to save a few hundred from the Ukulele Festival of Great Britain for a couple of months' time, just to make sure if anyone misses out this time, there will be some available. But get in quick if you can. They're going to be all be posted out in the next week or so. There we go. I've managed to get it working. Fabulous, brilliant. So hopefully you guys have kind of gathered how all this works by now. I'm sure you have. Let's see. Let me just make sure that's working. There we go. But we're gonna use these chord boxes to show us how to play the songs, kind of a bit like doing things by ear rather than following sheet music, which is something that I'm quite passionate about. There we go. That's working as well. Brilliant. Sorry, guys. All good. Thanks, Andre. Hi, Mr. Luke. Hi, David. Hi, Margaret. Cool. So for instance, what we have here in London Calling, our very first song, is we've got two chord boxes at the top here. Where are we? Over here, E minor and F. Now, the numbers tell you which chord it is in a scale. Now, normally that's quite easy with chords like C and G, keys like C and G. This one's in a key for E minor, which is quite unusual. That just means we play the one chord, which is E, and then we count up on our hands for the next chord. The next one, E, F. The two chord is an F. Normally in a key of E minor, that would be an F sharp, but notice it's got a little flat next to it. I think don't sweat it too much for this one. Just play the chords that are written and you'll be absolutely fine. And this one's following a really common thing that happened in punk music. The one chord followed by the two chord flatted. It's a really, really common thing to happen in punk music. Creates this real kind of gritty sound. This one's from 1979, the London Calling album by The Clash. Oh, hi, Mum. And I think this one's the first song on the album, isn't it? It's just like an absolute classic. And it really kind of encapsulates the feel of the album. Kind of slightly dark, but with an element of the exotic to it as well, which is really beautiful. In terms of those boxes, unless I say so, just think of every box as a measure or 4 beats. All right. Now we're actually going to play this first bit staccato. So as well as let me show you how the boxes work, let me show you how to play this one and make it sound really sweet. What we're going to do is we're going to strum down these chords. But as we do so, what I'm doing is I'm squeezing the strings as I strum down. And as I stop strumming, at the end of my down strum, I'm letting all the tension go out of this hand. Now, even though there's one string that's open that's going to ring out, do you see how that creates like a real pulsing sound? If I didn't do it, it would sound like this. Whereas if I pulse it, I'm going to do the same thing on my F chord, even though it's only 2 strings that are going to be pulsed because the other 2 are going to ring out. It still creates a little bit of a pulse. Now, if you want to make that stronger, what you can do is after each down strum, you don't have to do this, it's quite tricky. You can touch the strings lightly again with another finger of this hand. So I'm strumming down and then just immediately touching with a finger. Okay, let's practice that intro. Now, as I said, each one of those bars is 4 beats. So that just means 4 down strums on an E minor, followed by 4 down strums on an F. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? Let's give it a go. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. E minor and F. E minor and F. E minor and F, E minor, and F. There we go, fabulous. Now the verses pretty much do the same thing, only it switches between the 1 and the flat 2 chord and the 1 and the 3 chord. That just means in layman's terms it goes E minor F, E minor G, and it just keeps repeating. So let's have a go at that. Squeeze along with me. I'm going to keep this on screen. Thanks, Indrani. Squeeze those lemons. 1, 2, 3, 4. E and F, E, G. basically, that's the chorus. That's the verse, sorry. Now, actually, Peter brings up an interesting point. It does miss the high C note that comes out on guitar. In fact, it wouldn't be a C because guitars tuned differently, but it misses the high note that comes out on guitar. If you want that, you can either do it as Peter's doing it, like 5-3-3. Is that 5-3-3-3-5-5? Trying to think how you're doing that. 3. I'm not. Let me just. I'll show you how I do it anyway. Sorry, Peter. I wasn't sure how you're doing yours with 3-5-5. What I do is when I hit that F, sometimes I like to keep my little finger or third finger down on that high C note. Hear that high C we get at the end of the F rather than an A. And that just gives it a slight different tension. Have a listen. It sounds a bit more like Peter says, a bit more like it does on a record. So feel free to experiment with that. I find when I'm doing it instrumentally, I really like the sound of that. When I'm just strumming and singing, my vocals are kind of covering up that F anyway, so I just play a normal F, all right? So Eva's absolutely fine with that. You'll have no problem whatsoever. Oh, apparently Cynthia Ling calls it a pump strum. I like that. It's like a pump, pump, pump. Okay, I like that. Cool. Now, the chorus is just is E to G, E to G, E to G, most of it, E minor to G, even with a D at the end. Now, when I do that, I like to do a down, down, up, down, up, down, up strum. Or, you know, I don't like strum patterns. Think of it as walk, running, 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 walk, running, 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 down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up. Or just strum up and down. It just means when we get to the chorus bit, it gives it this little bit of variety. It kind of, it's a bit more relaxed sounding. The ice age is coming, the sun's zooming in, meltdown expected, the wheat's growing thin, cause London, so on and so forth, da 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 da, cause London is drowning and I live by the river. And then we're back to another verse. I quite often like to just hold that last D, just let it ring out, which is quite good fun, basically. So that one I was just doing down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, just like that, right? So that's something you can do in the choruses, which is super nice. Final verse. I wouldn't sweat that. The final verse we just play. It's a normal verse. As you would normally do it, but instead of kind of having a G at the end, it just goes E minor, F, E minor, F, E minor. You'll kind of get an idea of that. You'll be absolutely fine. Just follow it that long. So after the final instrumental, we get that verse. Just play the chords that are in that box, and it has this kind of nice ending. Just ends on this E minor with a lovely never felt so much alike, 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 alike. It kind of fades out on the record, which is good fun. Now, there's one other thing that we can try on this, and this is a wee bit of a solo. Now, this one is in the key of E minor, so we're going to use the E minor pentatonic. Now, this is all written out on your scales and reference sheet, which is the one that looks like this. And if you haven't already got it, it's in the description. There's a link to it. You only need to print this one out, and you can use it for everything because it's got all your different types. And if you keep going along far enough, you'll find this E minor pentatonic. Now notice up here we've got these shapes. Ignore the G major pentatonic. If you want, you can join them together with that one. But importantly, we have this shape starting on the C string. The E minor pentatonic, we have the 4th fret of the C string going up to the 7th fret of the C string, the 5th fret of the C string to the 7th, 5th, 7th. I bet loads of you are getting well used to that one by now. 4, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7. If you want, you can also play those notes in a G major pentatonic, which is 7, 9, 7, 10, 7, 10. and you'll be able to get a shape. Now this one, I prepared a little backing track. You want to keep it kind of relatively angular and kind of jarring. You don't want it too fancy sounding for this one, because we're playing punk, right? So I like to do something, I don't know, something really kind of simple and give it a bit of kind of something like really kind of angular like that. You don't want really kind of smooth. I mean, you could, but it doesn't sound punk, right? Give it a real give it a real bit of energy when you try a solo on that, and just try letting rip on that E minor pentatonic scale. If you're not sure, just pick a few of the notes. I quite like this little kind of, if I come in close, look, I quite like this little triangle that you get on the E minor pentatonic, which is 5 7 5 7 rectangle. Sorry, not triangle. And you can do quite a lot of that. Just kind of, there we go. Don't feel you've got to play like turns of notes. That was just 4 notes using that little rectangle at the end. Just have a little fun. And what we're going to do is we're going to put that on the little instrumentals that we've got in this one. We've got 2. We've got the interlude, which is the first one, where we're going to use the verse chords. All right, so the first little solo, we're going to do the verse chords, and you can just solo away over the top of that. I'll play them. You just have fun. And then where it says instrumental before verse 3, we're just going to do the intro, which is E minor and F all over again. All right, so just have loads of fun with that one and just enjoy it. Should we give it a go? Let's get going. Let's try a song. I think what I'll do, because this is our first song, let me come in on close cam. And you won't be able to see my face, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. You can just follow my chords as we go for this one. All right. I'll only be staring off at the lyrics anyway. Oh, hi, Steve. Good to see you, mate. Let's give it a go then. Let's do this intro round and round a few times to get going. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's have a go at a verse after this one. Here we go. London calling to the faraway towns. Now war is declared and battle come down. London calling to the underworld. Now come out of the cupboard, you boys and girls. London calling, now don't look to us. Phony Beatlemania has bitten the dust. London calling, see we ain't got no swing, except for the ring of that truncheon thing. Chorus, the ice age is coming, the sun's zooming in, meltdown expected, the wheat's growing thin, engines stop running, but I have no fear, cause London is drowning and I live by the river. Let's do that intro part again. There we go, another verse. London calling to the imitation zone. Forget it, brother, you can go it alone. London calling to the zombies of death. Quit holding out and draw another breath. London calling, oh, I don't want to shout, but while we were talking, I saw you nodding out. London calling, see we ain't got no high, except for the one with the yellowy eyes. The ice age is coming, the sun's zooming in, engines stop running, the wheat's growing thin, nuclear error, but I have no fear, cause London is drowning and I live by the river. solo, guys. If not, just play these chords for me, the verse chords. Keep that solo going. One more. Here comes our chorus. The ice age is coming, the sun's zooming in, engines stop running, the wheat's growing thin, a nuclear error, but I have no fear, 'cause London is drowning and I live by the river. Instrumental chords. Just E minor and F. Take a solo if you like. Now after these two, final verse, guys. Now get this, London is calling, I was there too. You know what they said? Well, some of it was true. Yes, London calling at the top of the dial. And after all this, won't you give me a smile? London calling. E minor. I never felt so much alike. That was fun. What a cool song to play on ukulele. You wouldn't think punk works on ukulele, and some people would argue it still doesn't. But I thought that was great. Oh, there's a red admiral trying to get in my room. I'll leave it outside. That would be cruel to let it in. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that. I'm gonna pause for a minute and just see if we've got any questions with any of that at all, guys. I'm just gonna see if there's anything I missed as well. So yeah, hope you're doing well. The reason we're doing, it's a bit selfish, but the reason we're doing London Calling is me and Sharon just got back from London last night. We went to see Regina Spektor play Saturday night in London Festival Hall in the South Bank Centre. Oh man, she was just amazing. Absolutely wonderful. What that woman can do with just her voice and piano is just unbelievable. So yeah, brilliant. So I thought I'm kind of feeling inspired. So I hope you enjoyed that. Yeah, absolutely, Andrea. I couldn't agree more. I think my favourite on that one is Spanish Bombs. I just love that song. Spanish Bombs in Andalusia. What a cool song. And I love how London Calling kind of like, it's still got their punkiness to it, hasn't it? But he had like Cuban rhythms on some of the tracks, all sorts of interesting stuff going on, which is great. So Indrani's fingers are sore from doing A Shokin Farewell. Oh, that's amazing. If anyone missed it, I did a live lesson on it I've still got the picture here. Did a live lesson on it this Wednesday just gone, A Shokin Farewell, which is a beautiful chord melody. We used Spencer Gay's wonderful arrangement of the J. Unger tune. And if you missed it, you can still get them. All of these are listed on my website, mattsteadukulele.com. So if you missed that one, go back and you can take part in that again, which is great. So Steve's just got in from his teaching. No worries, Karen. Good to see you. Good to see you. There we go. There we go. So it just occurred to me that I forgot a fascinating fact. Karen says the yellowy eyes refers to one of the band got hepatitis C, gives you yellowy eyes. Oh, that's cool. Thanks, Karen. There's some brilliant, fascinating facts in the back of the sheets, which is always good for hearers. Always good fun as well, isn't it? So make sure you go and check those out as well. Brilliant. Oh, I think loads of you enjoyed that. Yeah, we got Peter. I don't know if you saw my Facebook pictures earlier. I went out just for a quick walk on my lunch break today, and we've got a buddleia out front. I can still see his butterflies on it now. And there was red admirals, a small tortoiseshells, and a peacock as well. But yeah, seem to be doing really well with red admirals this one, which is this year, which is great. And Beth, yeah, it's quite a tricky change, isn't it? I always think with that that E minor chord, if you can get your little finger in first, any three finger chord, whether it be a G7 or an E minor, if you get that index finger in first, you'll find that these two fingers almost want to fall in place. It's like magic. Look at that. When I put my finger there for a G7, look at these two fingers. They're in the right place. If I put my finger here for an E minor, look at these two. They're just dying to fall down. So try and lead with that index finger into that E minor. Same with the F. Get that one down and reverse, down and going up the stairs. Just allow you to kind of change as you go, which is good there. So brilliant. Hi Asia. You'll get it. You'll get it. Take your time. You'll get it. Just be patient with yourself. It's a beautiful piece, isn't it? Okay then, guys. Let's have a look at another song. Now this next one is like, it couldn't be more different, and that's what I love about the songs this week. And this one's, oh man, so beautiful. I'm quite into the Kinks, and this is one of my favourite songs. I love the R. Arthur LP, but they've done some amazing stuff, haven't they? Now let's have a look. This one's so beautiful, and I learned a fascinating fact about this. This is a different fascinating fact from Karen's brilliant ones in the back. I had no idea that this song was originally going to be called Liverpool Sunset. Can you believe that? As long as I gaze on Liverpool sunsets, I am in paradise. So he's going to write it about a sunset over the Mersey. But it was around about the time that the Beatles did Penny Lane and Strawberry Fields, and he decided it felt a bit like he was cashing in on that Beatles change. So he kind of took it back to Waterloo, which makes sense, you know. He's a Londoner, wasn't he? And he wrote it instead about Waterloo. And he talks about when he was a child, he was really poorly and he had to stay in St Thomas, which is really, it basically is Waterloo, isn't it? Had to stay in St Thomas Hospital on the river. And he kind of used these memories to come up with the lyrics, which is really sweet. But yeah, could have been Liverpool Sunset. Isn't that crazy? Madness. Now this one's a really, really gentle song. We're in the key of C now, so we're back in our safe space in terms of counting the chords. So see if you can use the Nashville numbers on this one. So C is going to be our one chord, which is what everything is built from. The one chord you always feel home and it sets you off on a journey. In this case, that's going to be C. Then for all the other ones in the key of C, we can just count up on our hands. So the next chord that happens in the intro is the 5 chord, C, D, E, sorry, can't count. C, D, E, F, G. That'll be the 5. All right, literally just count up. And then we're followed by the 4 chord, C, D, E, F. That's all that means. And the 5 chord tends to create a little bit of tension. And the 4 chord, I always call it the change chord, don't I? Just offers a little bit of variety. So the lovely intro and the verses are mostly just 1, 5, 4, C, G, F. Now this one we're going to really relax with. That's why I've started to kind of breathe and slow down when talking. I want you to do the same thing. We're going to really relax with this one. And we're going to play a calypso pattern, a really gentle calypso pattern. Now some people struggle with this strum pattern. And you know, again, I'm not a big one of strum patterns, but I'll just show it to you and see how you get on with it. If you want to mute the strings with your left hand, you'll get this sound. It's really good for practicing strum patterns, right? And the first thing that we're going to do is a down, down, up. Okay? Now, if you like to do the phonetic thing, how I teach my YouTube videos, that would be walk, running. Okay? Walk, running. The reason I like the phonetic thing is it doesn't matter if you're on an up or a down note. Walk, running. I could go up, walk, running, as long as I've got that rhythm. But most people like to play down, down, up. Then we've got this little gap, which is really throws people. So after we've done our down, down, up, to fill the gap, I sometimes like to do a little windmill because the next one's going to be an up. And then I've got up, down, up, down, up. So down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up. Again, if you say it phonetically, you don't have to worry if you're on an up or a down. Walk, running, and running. Walk, running, and running. Walk, running, and running. Walk, running, and running. Isn't that lovely? I think after we've had a go at a verse, I might get you to do a little rolled strum in there, which can sound really lovely. In context of the piece, each of those strums is 4 beats. Okay, so that means we do it once per box up here, once per measure. That would sound like this: C, G, and F. That's our verb, that's our intro. Then we do this next bit. C, F, G again. Okay, so that's the start of our verse, right? Dirty old river, must you keep rolling, flowing into the night. I love this song. People so busy, make me feel dizzy, taxi light shines so bright. Now this next bit has this beautiful, beautiful chord progression. It has something in it often called a voice leading, sometimes called line cliche. And that's where we have a kind of chord, and then in the middle of it, you have this kind of descending or ascending melody. In this case, it's descending. It goes like this. It's really pretty. And the way we do that is we have a really unusual set of chords. We have D minor. I'll talk you through why the name of this next one, because it's really weird in a minute. But we have D minor. Most people play D minor like this. I want you to play it this way round, all your fingers in a row. Almost looks like an E minor chord that's been squished together. The reason is, what we're going to do is, notice by the way, we've got 2 fingers on the 2nd fret, 1 finger on the 1st fret of the E string. The reason we're doing that is that next chord, a D minor major 7, I'll talk to you about that in a sec. All you have to do is move that 2nd finger along to the 1st fret. And then finally, for the F chord, you just take it away, which is really beautiful. And then we do finish that with a G chord. So it will look and sound like this: D minor, move that 2nd finger along, and off. It's one of my favourite chord progressions, and I use this in my piece The Wend. I really love it. I'm doing like a... really highlighting those notes. I just love the sound of it, right? It's beautiful, isn't it? That one, 2nd finger along, and F, and then G. And with the words, that bit sounds like this: but I don't need no friends. And the function of that 2 chord, the D minor, is to create a bit of melancholy. Minor chords always create a little bit of melancholy, which is really, really beautiful, isn't it? The reason it's called a D minor major 7, it's a really unusual chord. Now, I don't want to go into too much theory because it hurts people's brains sometimes, but a major chord has a 1st, a 3rd, and a 5th note of the scale in it. If you don't know what that doesn't mean, don't sweat it, but that's what a major chord is. A 1st, a 3rd, and a 5th, we call it a major triad. A minor chord, that middle note, the 3rd note, is flattened. All right, so in a D minor, this note here, which is an F sharp, is flattened to an F. That's what makes it a D minor rather than a D major. It's the only difference between those 2 chords. Now, when you play a D minor 7, normally the 7th note of the chord is flatted as well. It's just what we do. It's a minor 7, we flatten that chord. But in a D minor major 7, it's a D minor triad, and this 7th note isn't flatted. That's all it is. That's all it means. Fancy pants name, D minor chord with a major 7. Just means the 7th note of the scale isn't flatted. That's all it is. All right? Now, don't worry about the theory if that hurts your brain, because all you have to do is move your finger over, right? So that's that bit. I'll do it one more time. Then finally we have that C, G, F again. Hopefully you'll be feeling comfortable with that now. Now this next measure is quite tricky. If you want to, you can just play F or leave this one out completely. It's absolutely fine. But if you want to play it, what we've got to do is we've got to strum 3 Fs and then a single C. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, that's quite difficult to do with that calypso strum, so I suggest if you find that tricky, just literally just down strum. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. It kind of immediately takes you into this D chord for the chorus. Okay. Let me play that last line of the verse for you in close cam so you can see it. I am in paradise. 1, 2, 3, C. Every day I look at myself. Alright, so it's just a little C that comes before the chorus. Don't sweat it, just play F, you'll be absolutely fine there for the whole measure as well. It's just something I like to do. It's what Ray Davies does on his acoustic guitar. Next up then, the chorus, we have the 2 chords, C, D. Normally the 2 chord in any key is a minor chord, but you'll notice that the Roman numerals are capitalised, they're not undercase. That means we're going to do it as a normal D chord. So he's breaking the rules here, Ray Davies. He used to do that quite a lot, Ray Davies, but it sounds great, right? So we can't argue with him, it sounds great. Now D chord, just squish 3 fingers all into that 2nd fret, top 3 strings, okay? And it is best for this one if you can do it that way, because that means when you come to the D7, you can just take this middle one out for a Hawaiian D7. Okay, so D. Let me just kind of sing the words so you can get it. Every day I look at the world from my window. Then we've got another one of these tough measures, C, C, F, C. So those little lines that you can see next to the Fs and the Cs tell you how many strums. 2 on C, 1 on F, 1 on C. C, C, F, C, and then we go to D. And we do the next bit. And then this time just hit a G7, Waterloo sunset's fine. And where it says NC, just strum it once and then just let it ring. You'll see when you get there, you'll know what I mean by that. That's quite interesting, that chorus, because it really shows the power of that 5 chord at the end. The 5 chord, C, D, E, F, G, is all about creating a sense of tension, and it really hangs on. Waterloo sunset's fine. Tension makes you want to go back to the verse. Terry meets Julie. Feel that tension being relieved. It's amazing. Terry meets Julie. Waterloo sun. It's beautiful. Really, really clever, right? It's gorgeous. Let's try one of those choruses just so we can have a go, because it's the hardest part, and then we'll stick it all together. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Every day I look at the world from my window. Chilly, chilly is evening time. Waterloo sunset's fine. Let me go to another verse. Terry meets Julie, Waterloo Station, every Friday night. Beautiful, right? Really, really lovely. Now the outro is just the same. It's basically we play that last verse, you play the whole verse, and then when you get to this bottom line here, this line here, C, G, F, you're going to replace it with this one. So the last verse, you're going to do all of this as normal, only when we get to this line, we're going to replace it with these. Okay, you'll soon get it. It just means we play C, F, G, C, G, F at the end, and then we finish on a G major. Okay, and we keep that tension hanging, which is really, really lovely. All right, so quite a lot going on there to do. We've got that kind of calypso pattern. We've got that lovely descending bass line, all sorts of things. If you want to sweeten it up a little bit, on that calypso strum, on the down strum after your second down strum, I actually like to roll my nails over it. You'll notice I do that on the next two tracks. That sound like this. Down, roll, up, up, down, roll, down, roll. Just lovely. Dirty old river, must you keep rolling, flowing into the night. Just see how it just creates that lovely kind of sense of melancholy, which I think matches this song beautifully. Now this one, I thought we should probably put a little solo in this one. And I thought what we'll do, let's see, after the second chorus, rather than going straight into that verse, let's do a verse as an instrumental as well, so you can have a little go at soloing. Now this one's in the key of C, so you can use a C major pentatonic, which is down here, it's 0-2 on the C string, 0-E on the E string, 0-3 on the A string. That's C-D, 0-2, E-G, A-C. Or remember our trick, you can play any of the notes on the A string. Okay, any of those notes on the A string in any order, which will sound nice. Now, unlike London Calling, let's keep this really mellow and sweet. So not too many notes. See if you can do some little slides and bends. Something like that, just really nice and gentle. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, not even that fancy. Just keep it really simple and have some fun with it. Should we give it a go? Come on, let's give it a go. This is one of my all-time favourites. I'll try and stay on screen for this one. Let's see if I can do that. I'll be staring off into the distance for the chords and the words even. Okay, here we go. Let's do that intro to get us going. Let's do the intro twice. It'll give us a little bit more of a run-in. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again. Dirty old river, must you keep rolling, flowing into the night. People so busy, make me feel dizzy, taxi light shines so bright. But I don't need no friends, as long as I gaze on Waterloo sunset, I am in paradise. Every day I look at the world from my window. Chilly, chilly is evening time, Waterloo sunset's fine. Terry meets Julie, Waterloo Station, every Friday night. But I am so lazy, don't want to wander, I stay at home at night. But I don't feel afraid, as long as I gaze on Waterloo sunset, I am in paradise. Every day I look at the world from my Piccadilly's evening time, Waterloo sunset's fine. Take a solo. Hit those pentatonic notes. Just the dots on the A string if you're not sure. Really nice. If you're strumming, just G and F now, and then we'll do another verse. Here we go. Let's do another verse. Millions of people swarming like flies around Waterloo Underground. But Terry and Julie cross over the river where they feel safe and sound. And they don't need no friends as long as they gaze on Waterloo sunset. They are in paradise. Waterloo sunset's fine. Waterloo sunset's fine. Waterloo sunset's fine. Well done, everyone. Man, I love that song. I don't know what it is about it. It's just like so beautifully melancholic, isn't it? And so evocative. Honestly, having been in Waterloo on the Saturday night, I was actually in Waterloo. Festival Hall is pretty much right next to it. It really takes you there. It's absolutely amazing. You can just kind of envisage, you know, that golden light you get on the River Thames, which isn't the prettiest of rivers, is it? I mean, it's brown and stinky, but the light catches it the right, you know, at the right time. And you got the Houses of Parliament and Somerset House in the background. Absolutely gorgeous. So hope you enjoyed that. It's absolutely beautiful. Sorry about the whoopsie at the end of the second verse. I forgot what chords I was playing in that quick bit. So I might have taken you out of time there slightly, guys, but hopefully you managed to catch up with it. It's good, all good experience anyway. I'll pretend I did it on purpose. I'll just stop for a minute and just see how everyone got on with that one, and then we'll take a look at it. Oh, cool! Ace used it teaching English. Oh, with Penny Lane. How cool is that? Considering it's history. That's really neat, isn't it? I love that. Cool. Yeah, Lisa, I kind of, it's one of the few songs that I can sing quite comfortably. I love it. It's just, it's got such a lovely mid-range kind of feel to it, hasn't it? Which is lovely. So, yeah, there we go. Oh, brilliant. Oh, and Ronnie, hopefully that's another one for your locker. It's absolute, such a beautiful one. So, yeah, brilliant. Oh, thank you, Rebecca. Thank you. Yeah, I kind of have to choose songs that are kind of are special to me in some way. Um, sometimes Esther and Karen really helpfully, and they give me a list of ideas for kind of ideas for songs. And sometimes I'll take that idea and run with it. Like Karen did a brilliant one on superheroes, and I thought, oh, I could do Waiting for Superman by Flaming Lips. But I can't necessarily do all the songs, sorry, Karen and Esther, that you guys choose, because I just don't know them that well. So I find if I choose a song that I know well, hopefully it comes across okay, because it means I can tell you why I like it and stuff, and you'll understand. But yeah, so it's quite hard learning songs that you don't know and kind of doing them off like that. So yeah, a lot of these, it sounds quite selfish, but they're songs that I love, because then hopefully you get the joy of that coming across, but also it means that I know them well enough I can teach them as well, and that's one of my all-time favorites. I just love that. Next one's a really classic example of that, actually, because we've got something quite unusual. We're going to look at a song by Saint Etienne, and it's from one of my favourite albums of all time. Saint Etienne released an album in the 90s called So Tough, It's got some beautiful, beautiful songs in it. You're in a Bad Way, Hobart Paving, Mario's Cafe, all sorts of ones. It's absolutely gorgeous. And again, this one's really evocative because for those of you that aren't British, I thought you might really enjoy this because it's kind of like all those kind of English cliches. So it's set in a cafe. You might think Mario's Cafe is going to be in Italian, but I kind of think about it as kind of more of a greasy spoon because they're meeting at 10 a.m., you know. And there is unbuttoning your sheepskin caraway. So the type of raincoat over here. Rainy Cafe, Kentish Town Tuesday. Barra's looking for the Racing Post, which is it's the newspaper that has all the racing form for the horse racing in. And orders coffee, another round of toast. I just think it's so evocative of like going into a little cafe, eating a greasy spoon on a Tuesday morning. It's just great. And I believe it was Karen's got some great fascinating facts. The characters in it are made up, but I believe that they did used to as a band with Bob and Sarah Sarah Cracknell, and they used to meet up in this cafe, and it's a real cafe. I don't know if it's still there. Karen, you might be able to tell us. I've been meaning to go and see whether it is, but I kind of always presumed it might not have done. And there's some lovely English references as well. Eubank wins the fight, obviously Chris Eubank, the boxer. And did you see the KLF last night? I just love that as well, KLF. And there's some interesting facts about KLF. Famously burnt £1 million, which is just absolutely mad. There is one where it says Jackie wants to meet the Glitter Band, and I'm guessing that might be Gary Glitter, so we'll pass over that quickly. We don't talk about that. We'll erase that from our memory. But apart from that, yeah. Oh, thanks, Leslie. Yes, pop it on the playlist. Absolutely brilliant. That's amazing. So, oh, cool. That's really interesting. Nice. Ah, you have to be a Beatlemaniac. Me and Sharon were reminiscing when we had our wedding. We had it in Marylebone Town Hall, and when we drove past that, the reason we chose that is where Paul McCartney got married twice. Funny enough, only once for us. You'd be glad to know. And so we got married there, and then we had a bus taking the people around London, and me and Sharon went up to Abbey Road to have our photos taken in our wedding gear outside the studio on the crossing and everything. So proper. I love Beatlemaniacs. We're kindred spirits, all of us, aren't we? Okay, let's have a look at what's happened in this. I've been rambling on, haven't I? So this one, again, we're in the key of C. This is one of those interesting ones where if you just looked at it, you might think it's in the key of G because the first chord in the piece is a G chord to an F chord. But it's quite a common thing to go from the 5 to the 4 chord to just kind of create a little bit of tension before a song starts. So the 5 chord is G, the 4 chord is F, and we just play one of each. I'm going to carry on that lovely calypso strum for this one as well. Just really gentle. Just like that, G to F. Now I think that final F before we start the verse, this is my fault, not Karen or Esther's. The final F, I think just leave it for one extra measure. So we'll do G, F, G, and F. One more, this time on the F. Just add one more measure of F, and then pause, because that's what we've got on the record. Then we go into these lovely verses. Now these verses have this beautiful chordal movement that happens in a lot of pieces, where a C is followed by a C major 7. It's actually really easy to do. All you need to do is take that C on the 3rd fret and pull it, either move your finger back, or I prefer to drop my 2nd finger on that note there. It gives the feel of a B note. This note here is a B, which is the major 7th in a C chord. Notice that creates this downward movement. And the next chord is an F, and the note on the A string in an F chord is an A. So you get this sound of this A. And then when we go to G, it's that B again. And you can almost hear this little mini melody. So we have C, C major 7, F, and G. Keep it really light. Again, C. Change chord and the tension of the 5 chord. Then on the bottom line we have C, G, F, G, 1, 5, 4, 5. Another common thing to do, home, tension, a little bit variety, change, and tension. That 5 chord often happens before a chorus because it creates tension that is resolved just by going to the C of the chorus. Just like at the end of Waterloo Sunset, Waterloo Sunset's fine, we had a form of G, da, da, which resolved going to the chorus. We have the opposite here, instead of it coming out, the chorus goes into it. The chorus is just the 1 and 4 chord, which is something that folk music used to do all the time. Loads of early folk songs just went from the 1 chord to the 4 chord over and over and over. Loads of them. And that's what we've got happening here. See? When we meet for a while, F, Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. When we meet for a while, Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. Notice when the 5 chord comes in, the G, it creates a slight bit of tension and the song has a different feel here. So G to F, everyone's dreaming of all they've got to live for, joking around, still digging that sound. Da 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 da, all they've got to live for. And then that ends, see? Just pause on that F. And we go to the next bit. It's quite simple, really pretty, isn't it? Really gentle. Oh, thanks, Asia. Oh man, Karen, it still exists. Oh man, I tell you what, Karen, if I'd have found that out before I went away, I should have done that. I could have gone and found it, couldn't I, this weekend? That would have been a really cool thing to do. Next time I go to London, I'll get a picture and I'll share it with you all because that is so cool. I had no idea about that. So yeah. Oh, thank you. And I think, I think Lisa, I think Esther's had a bit of a harder week of everything this week, without going into details because I don't know how much she wants me to share. So yeah, she's not here tonight, folks. And Karen very kindly stepped in and helped with all of the sheets. So thanks, Karen. It was really cool of you to do it. It was really really nice of you to step into the breach. So yeah, we'll send all our love to Esther. If anyone wants to send any messages and perhaps pop them on the Facebook group, that'd be a really lovely thing to do, wouldn't it? Let her know we're all thinking of her. But I'll say the same as well when I message her. Okay, so, oh yeah, absolutely. This one would be nice with an inside-outside pattern, this one, Lisa, which would be really lovely. So just kind of I mean, you could do your own. It sounds like you have, Lisa, anyway, which is amazing. Just do inside-outside. Button up your sheepskin caraway, rainy cafe, Kentish town Tuesday. Barry's looking through the racing post, orders coffee, another round of toast. It's really pretty, isn't it? So that would be, yeah, lovely one for a little bit of picking. Or Travis picking, you could do the outside. That's really nice. When we meet for a while, Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. Have a little experiment. This would be a lovely one to finger pick. Absolutely. Now, it's pretty straightforward. We've got that verse and then the chorus and then verse and then the chorus. Then we've got an instrumental. Now, the instrumental, we're keeping it really simple. We're just going C, F, C, F in terms of the chords. And then you can do a little bit. Again, use those dots. Use the dots on the A string. You'll be absolutely fine for a pentatonic. Or use that C major pentatonic scale I just showed. And this one's really nice again to kind of do some little mellow slides and things. Pick a couple of notes, say the 3rd fret to the 5th fret on the E string, and hit just the 3rd fret and lift up, slide up, and you get this. That's a lovely way to work into a solo. You can do a little bit of that and a little bit of vibrato. I think this one would be really nice, something really mellow. really simple. Really keep it really nice and easy. All right. The outro, we just play the chords as they're written. It's basically like the second half of a chorus and the first half of a verse. You'll be able to follow it. So after we do that instrumental, we're going to play the outro chords, just starting on G and F. I think you'll get this absolutely fine. Yeah, absolutely fine. I can do that, Indrani. I can do that now quickly. Yeah. So Travis picking is kind of famously where you pick the outside two strings quite often at the same time. So I would quite often say, I'm going to do a C chord down here. Just I won't change chord, just a C chord. And if you use your thumb on the G string and your ring finger on the A string, you get the sound of two notes, which is really nice. And then you can do the inside two strings with any of your other fingers. I like to use my middle and ring. So you could do outside, inside. And I kind of like to go outside, inside, outside, inside. And you could just keep that rhythm going, or you could do outside, inside, outside, and pause. A lot of people do that. Try changing the chord. Or you could do it the way Lisa suggested, which is outside, inside, outside. Okay, so either way. Or if you wanted something dead simple, just pick the inside two strings, followed by the outside two strings. Inside, outside, inside, outside. That's beautiful in itself, isn't it? So Travis picking two at the same time, and then the others however you like to. Okay, there you go. I can't think of the guy's name, but it's named after a famous guitarist, wasn't it? Something Travis. So yeah, cool. Okay, let's give it a go. So have a little picking if you want to. Got a chance to do a little solo, and we'll strum and sing this as well, and just really enjoy ourselves. Really nice and gentle, this one. Here we go. So remember, we're starting on that G to an F, folks. All right, I'll come in on close cam for this one, so you can follow it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. On that. 2, 3, 4. Button up your sheepskin caraway, rainy cafe, Kentish town, Tuesday. Bar is looking through the racing post, orders a coffee, another round of toast. Lucy writes a letter, she'd like to spend an evening with Prince B. When we meet for a while, Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. When we meet for a while, Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. Everyone's dreaming of all they've got to live for, joking around, still digging that sound. Everyone's dreaming of all they've got to live for. 2, 3. Squeezy bottles under Pepsi signs, Joe and Johnny chew the bacon rind. Jackie wants to meet the glitter band. Dilworth is a strange and lovely man. Eubank wins the fry. Did you see the KLF last night? When we meet for a while, Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. When we meet for a while, Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. Everyone's dreaming of all they've got to live for, joking around, still taking that instrumentals. Try hitting a little solo, folks. I'm going to keep this going around a few times. Try those notes, the dots on your A string. Keep it going, folks. I'll give you a warning when we're ready to do the outro. Here we go, here comes the outro. One more C and F, then we'll hit our G. Here we go. Rainy cafe, Kentish down Tuesday, joking around, still digging that sound. Everyone's dreaming of all they've got to live for. When we meet for a while, Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. When we meet for a while, Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. When we meet for a while, Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. When we meet for a while, Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. When we meet for a while. Ah, nice. Well done, everyone. Really simple. Yeah, I think quite attractive song, that one. Really beautiful. Saint Etienne, if you haven't heard it. Obviously, Sarah Cracknell can sing it a lot better than me. I love her voice. It's like, oh, so ethereal and beautiful. Andre, you could do low G or high G for that. Yeah, Travis Picking will work for both. It's quite nice for low G because it kind of fits that guitar sound. So, yeah, isn't that lovely? It's a lovely one. I think that's one that's really such a joy to sing as well, which is lovely. So yeah, Betty, good question. Good question. So yeah, I tend to when I'm finger picking, it's a habit I've got, and I don't think it's necessarily a bad one. Classical guitarists always say you shouldn't have your little finger anywhere near the soundboard because it can dampen the soundboard. But honestly, you tell me if you can hear the difference between this and this. That's not big enough to dampen the tone, in my opinion. So ignore classical guitarists. Yeah, what I do is I tend to put my little pinky down here. I'm coming over the top of the uke still. So my arm is resting. In fact, you can see where it rests. I've got a little dent in my arm. It rests over the top here. We call this short arm. Long arm is when you come down here. Short arm is where we come over the top. That creates this lovely arch, which means that those fingers can pull up, which is what we're after. We don't want them sideways like this. We don't want them quite vertical, kind of at a 45-degree angle, which will allow you to pick up. Now you can just do that. You can just leave that pinky hanging when you do any kind of Travis picking or finger picking. But I quite like to pop my little finger down there. And just, it gives me a bit of balance. It kind of gives me something to tug against, if you see what I mean. So something you can just do if you want to. It's a kind of a quite a nice thing to do. Thanks, Mike. Oh, Lisa, I'll tell you what. If you come to the retreat next year, you can see me cry like a baby. Oh man, songs make me so emotional, and then seeing such lovely people as well. Honestly, I cried like a baby all through the retreat, and that I had to do my speech on Sunday night. I kind of had to abandon it halfway along because I couldn't stop crying. Yeah, beautiful, Indrani. I had no idea you were an au pair. That is so cool. Oh, we'll have to talk about it sometime. That's amazing. That's so cool. So yeah, it's an amazing place, London, isn't it? I lived in London, I think, for 4 or 5 years, something like that. Sharon, my wife, lived there for 12 years, I think. She went straight after university. It's where we met, actually, and then I dragged her back out west, kicking and screaming, because I wanted to be back near the forest. So yeah. Oh, it was amazing, Lisa, the Regina Spektor concert. She was just so wonderful. It's just her and a piano, and her songs, just the timbre of her voice, the beautiful piano playing. It's just wonderful, and it was a real it was one for the fans because she did a few songs off her last album, which I think came out last year, and then loads from a back catalogue. So she had songs going back like 30 years. It's absolutely amazing. Just her and a piano. She was joined on guitar by the guy she recorded the last album with for a couple of tracks, but mostly just her and piano. And even Shaz, who she likes Regina Spektor, but she's not as obsessive a fan as me. She was just spellbound by the whole thing. You know, when someone plays songs so beautifully that it actually brings a tear to your eye, it was like that. It was just, yeah, just wonderful. She's amazing. And she had a bad back, bless her. She had everyone doing squats. She was like, I've got a bad back, so I'm going to get you all doing it. So the whole audience were doing these squats in between songs, which is hilarious. So yeah, I love it. Okay, guys, let's before we do last one, let's just remind you that we've got the lovely, fascinating facts in the back. I won't read them all out to you because I think there's nothing worse than someone just talking at you, even though I'm doing that a lot. But you can have a read. There's some brilliant, fascinating facts in the back there, all about Waterloo Sunset, London Calling, and Mario's Cafe. Some cool ones about the KLF, which I love. They're one of my favourite bands, by the way. Completely nuts, but I love it. They had a book called How to Have a Number One, and if you followed it literally note for note, apparently you're meant to get a number one record, and a couple of bands did. Me and my friend Rob tried it, and we didn't get number one. It did get us played on Radio 1, though, which was pretty cool. So that's our claim to fame. Okay, so last one. Oh yeah, so we've got some teasers in the back as well, which is really cool. Oh, I should bring them on screen really. And maybe if I just read them out and see if you can put the answers up as I start explaining the next song, and you can let us know if you've worked it out. Because there's some quite good fun ones, and Indrani quite rightly said there's some holes figuratively and literally in one of these because it's open to interpretation, which I love. I think it makes it even better, Karen. So don't worry, I think it's even better. So there's a few brain teasers. 2 sons and 2 fathers went fishing. They caught 1 fish each. Only 3 fish were caught. How is that possible? So we've got to explain. 2, what starts with P, ends with E, and has 1 million letters in it. I got this one, Karen. I was quite proud of myself. And finally, how many holes does this t-shirt have? And it's a bit of a trick question, so see if you can work it out. And as always, see if you can find the cowbell, the welly boots, and the pants within the thing. And anyone that joined us for the retreat special, you know what the pants refers to now, because we had fun doing that one. Okay, let's have a look at our last song now. We might finish a wee bit earlier today. You might notice that we've gone down to 4 songs rather than the 5 for Kanikapila, and that's just because I found myself getting absolutely exhausted by the end of it and making loads of mistakes in the last one. So we thought we'll cut it down to 4 and we'll take our time with them. So we can really take our time with this last one. This last one is in the key of G. So in terms of the chords, G is going to be our 1 chord. Now notice, just like I said, I'd like to really spot patterns that are happening. And just like we had with St. Etienne, where we went from the 1 chord to the 4 chord over and over, well, we've got it in the verse of this one. Just so happens that because we're in the G, in the key of G, G is the 1 chord and C is the 4 chord. G, A, B, C. All right, simple as that. This chord only has, this song only has a couple of other chords in it. We've got an A minor 7, which is the 2 chord. In any key, that 2 chord tends to be played as minor, G, A, and A minor 7 we're going to play that as. Now that's really, really simple. We just strum all the strings open. A minor 7, everyone's favourite chord in the world, because you don't have to do anything with this hand. All right. Just really, really simple. All right. Don't worry, Karen, I'll get onto that in a minute. Don't worry. Yeah, I think it's possible. No, I think you've done it right. I think it is only 1 G to C. We'll see when we get there, but I think you've actually done that right, Karen. So don't worry. So that's the chords that we're using. Oh, and finally there's a D as well, and we're okay with that, aren't we? Just 3 fingers squished into the top 3 of the 2nd fret. Okay. Now there's a little note here that says that A minor 7 is in place of the 6th chord. Now I've only written that in because one of the most famous chord combinations of all time is 1 6 4 5. It's popularised by Gershwin and loads of the trad jazz players, and this is 1 2 4 5. So the 6th chord that you get in that common progression has been replaced by the 2 chord. Don't sweat it for now. It's just kind of an interesting thing, I thought. Okay, so that's the chords. Now we notice, a bit like Waterloo Sunset, we have a kind of a funny thing happening at the end of the chorus as well, down the bottom there. Can you see that D, N, C, C, D? What on earth does that mean? Well, it's something that I like to place at the end of the chorus that sounds nice. After we've done our my girl, talking about my girl, what I do is I hit a D once. I have a space of no chord, that just means we count 2 with nothing on. 1, 2, empty. Then 3 is C and 4 is D. So that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. And it takes you into the verse. I'll show you what I mean. I'll do the last verse line. Last line of the chorus even. See, I told you I get tired at the end. I'm saying the wrong words in the wrong orders. My girl, talking about my girl. 1, 2. And that takes you into the verse. It's just a little thing you can do. It just sounds sweet. Something that they do on the record, which is really nice. Now, we've got Indrani, this is for you. Indrani, whenever we do the G major pentatonic scale, which we put in a lot of songs, Indrani always points out, quite rightly, that it's the My Girl riff. And it is. We're going to use it in My Girl. If you play the G major pentatonic one note at a time like this, we're going to go from the C string 7th fret, up to the 9th fret, 7th fret to 10th fret on the E string, and then 7th fret to 10th fret on the A string. That's the G major pentatonic scale. If you're interested, the notes we're playing are G, A, B, D, E, and then another G. Whoops. Now you just have to copy this rhythm. Okay, and we're going to do that as a little intro. So if you want to strum the intro, it's just a G chord. I'm just doing straight 8s. And then if you want to practice it, if I hum it once, the intro you guys will play da 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 da. Alright, really lovely way to do the intro. Now, that's kind of the mostly it, right? And the verses are simple. I got sunshine on a cloudy day. Oh, you're right, Karen, it is twice through this. When it's cold outside, so just play the verse twice. I've got the month of May. So those chords twice, alright? Then the chorus, G, A minor 7, C and D, and G, A minor 7, and C and D, and G go. Talking about my girl, and back for another verse. Okay, now we've got, that gives us our verse, chorus to start with, which is what we start with. Then you'll notice on your lyric sheet we come to an instrumental solo. Now this, guys, I want you to write in. I think what I'll do is I'm going to bring up my iPad hopefully this will work. And I'm going to physically write down these chords, and I want you to copy them back. I think this is the easiest way to do it. Give me just a second. Let's see if that's worked. Hopefully you guys should see my iPad pop up. Yes, you do. So just need to bring up the right thing. I think it was this one. Yeah, cool. So what I'm going to do is I want you to write these chords in your sheet. We're going a bit crazy now. Right, on my go. Okay. So when we get to this instrumental, just copy this down on your sheet if you've got a pen handy. If you haven't, don't worry, I'll talk you through it as we do it, okay? We're going to do, in this instrumental, we're going to play G to C, and we're going to play that twice. Then we're going to play A minor 7 to D to B minor to E, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute. All right, now we're going to have a key change in a minute as well, which also is going to have A to D twice, and then we're going to have A, B minor 7. I'll talk you through all this, don't worry, but I wanted to show you how it works because I think it's kind of fascinating. It's a bit of a challenge at the end. So I'll come back to that in a second, and I'll keep that around so you can copy it down. But what we're going to do, if I play it through just so you can hear it, if I do the instrumental bit, first of all, we're just going to do our intro. All right, so when we first get to this, even before we do this bit here, play the intro. That means we're going to do our G bit. Bum, 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 bum. All right, our little kind of riff. Then we're going to play these chords, G, and then C, G, and then C. Just listen to it for now. A minor 7, and D, B minor, and E. Okay, that's your instrumental solo. Now, I figure it's our last song. I know I'm going to lose a few people here, but that's okay. If you guys have enjoyed the others, that's totally cool. If this is too much for anyone, it's all good, all right? And you can always do the bit up to that point. But I thought a lot of you guys have been playing Kanikapila for me, and I'm so thankful for it for over a year. I can't believe you stuck with me for so long. You all deserve a medal. Thank you. And I thought, let's give you a challenge, right? We've been doing this for a long time. So what is happening there is we're creating, basically, we're putting the foundations in for a key change. And I'm going to challenge you to do the key change for the last chorus, basically. I'll show you how in just a sec. But that's what's happening. So the first bit, as I say, we've got a riff. Do, bum, 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 bum. We're going to do that twice. Bum, 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 bum. Then we have G, C. I'm going to show you the chords next. G, C. Now the next bit, we've got A minor 7, no fingers at all, followed by D. Then we've got B minor, which is barring the whole of the 2nd fret and a finger on the 4th fret of the G string. Now if you struggle with that one, you could get away with playing a G major 7. Sounds slightly more wistful because of this open G, but if you can, there's your B minor. And then finally an E chord. You can either do it like this, which is how most people do it, but I actually like to just bar the whole of the 4th fret, little finger up here on the 7th. So if I do the bit from A minor, we've got A minor, then D, B minor, and then E. Okay, that takes you to the key change. That means for the next verse, what we can do is we can play in the key of A, because this E chord, anytime you play a chord that is the 5 chord in a key, and this is the 5 chord in the key of A, it wants to go back to the 1 chord. So this E chord sets up an A chord, so we can change the key to the key of A. Let's have a look at our sheets again and see how that works. So if I just flick a few pages back to my girl. Whoops, what have I done there? There we go. Went to a weird camera there. Had a picture of my lunchbox. Okay. There it is. Okay, so if we go back to this one, the verse is 1 to 4, isn't it? And this is where your challenge lies, okay? In the key of G, G is 1 chord and 4 is C, isn't it? So what do we think the 1 and the 4 chord would be in the key of A? See if you can have a think about it. There's 2 ways you can do it. You can just count up on your fingers, isn't there? A, B, C, D. Or you could just take each of those notes 1 higher, because A is a whole step higher than G, and what's a whole step higher than C? It's D, isn't it? So if we want to go to the 1, 5, 1, 4 in the key of A, the verses now are going to be A to D. And you can write it in, or even better, if you can avoid it, you can just try and remember that as 1 and 4 in the key of A. That's amazing. So our last verse is going to be, I don't need no money, A to D, fortune or fame. I've got all the riches, baby, one man can claim. Not too bad, right? Okay, so we've got a key change, which is really lovely. Thanks, Lisa. We've got a lovely key change there. Yeah, actually, Karen, if you're up for it, that would be really nice. Thanks, Karen. Just whenever you can, not like right now, obviously, but whenever you fancy it, that would be really sweet. Thanks, Karen. Karen's offered to add these additions in and share it on the Facebook group, which I think would be great, wouldn't it? All right. So this next bit's where this hard bit comes in: A, B minor 7, D, E. Now it's not as hard as it looks, because I've always got a tip, right? And this is your tip for this one. Now, an A is easy peasy. Now, B minor 7 is just barring the whole of the 2nd fret. Okay, and that makes sense because it went G, A minor 7, A, B minor 7. They're both a step up. And if you think of A minor 7 as no fingers, then this must be A sharp minor 7, B minor 7. That's how we get to it. So A, B minor 7. Now to turn that into a D chord, rather than doing this, just put your pinky down on the 5th fret. And then finally, for an E, just take it up 2 higher. So what looked really hard, this A, B minor 7, D, E? I guess you'd say, you can do just like that. One could make me feel this way. Okay. And then to finish it off, we're just back to A and D, aren't we? My girl, talking about my girl. All right. And then if you wanted to do the end bit, you could even do E, D, E. But I would just end it before then because that's quite tricky. So let's have a go at that. This is the hardest thing we've ever done in Kanikapila. We're gonna do a live key change, all right? So we're gonna play it through as it's on the sheet, but when we get to the instrumental, we're gonna do this one that's written out here, all right? That G, C, G, C, A minor 7, D, B minor E. Hopefully some of you wrote that down. I'll shout it out as we go, if not. And then we're going to go to our key change, A to D for the verse, and then of course we've got that A, B minor 7, D, E. Just give it a go, all right? You only live once. Let's just see how we get on. If it goes horribly wrong, it doesn't matter, does it? We'll have tried our best, which would be really, really good. All right, and also you can put that little riff in as you want, which is really good fun. No worries, Lisa. You have a brilliant day at work. So yeah, absolutely, Betty. That 5 chord leads us into a new 1 chord. So E is 5 of A as 1. And that's a really common thing to do in a key change. If we can hit a chord that's 5 above the 1, it takes us into the key change. Cool, huh? That's really nice, isn't it? Let's give it a try then. This might go horribly wrong for me as much as you guys, right? Because there's quite a lot going on. I think I'll come on close camera so you can follow my fingers. And let's just have a go. Indrani's just asked a question, which is cool. Yeah, brilliant. Thanks, Indrani. That'll help other people as well. Thank you. So that bar D, just bar the whole of the 2nd fret, little finger on the 5th fret of the A string. Basically what you've done is you've taken a C chord and turned it into a D chord. It's neat, isn't it? And the E that follows, just take that up 2 higher to 4 and 7. So D, 2 and 5, E, 4 and 7. I guess, just add that finger. You'd say, you do it again. What could make me feel this way? All right, go on, you got this. You can do this. You can do this, guys. Let's give it a try. So right from the start then, start with your little riff if you'd like to put it in G. 1, 2, 3, 4, G. I got sunshine on a cloudy day. When it's cold outside, I've got the month of May. Here comes that chorus. Oh, I guess you'd say, what can make me feel this way, my girl? Talking about my girl. I got so much honey, all the bees envy me. I got a sweeter song than the birds in the tree. Here comes that chorus. Oh, I guess you'd say, what can make me feel this way, my girl? Talking about my girl. Solo. Bum, 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 bum. Follow me. G. Da 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 da. Sing. Hey hey hey. G. So sing. A minor 7. Hey hey hey. D. B minor if you can. And A. Here's our key change. I don't need no money, fortune or fame. A to D. I've got all the riches, baby. 1 to 4 in the key of A. One man can claim. Here's the hard bit, everyone. Let's give it a go. Oh, I guess you say, what could make me feel this way, my girl? Talking about my girl. Well done, guys. We got a key change in. Whoop whoop. Amazing. Now this is the kind of thing I'd like to look at for the last song, because what we're doing now, we've got 3 new songs each week, And then we've got the People's Choice, where you guys can go on our Facebook group and you can pick your own. And because we've played it before, it's really nice to muck about with it a bit, right? Use it as a bit of an experiment. So the last song every week, if you guys are up for it, I'm going to have a little challenge. Something like that, a key change, maybe a riff or a solo, something that's like a little bit trickier than normal, that we can really explore, and I think that'd be fun, wouldn't it? I hope you enjoyed that, guys. John's right. Yeah, all the big ballads have a lovely key change, don't they? Imagine Westlife suddenly getting up off their stools. You raise me up. It just, yeah, love it. Indrani, I don't know if you noticed, the very second to last one, I got the chords wrong anyway. So if I'm allowed to, you're allowed to. It's all good, right? We're all friends. It's all good. Forgot to mention a couple of things. For anyone that's feeling super generous, if you'd like to send me a tip, I've got my link here, paypal.me/Ukroom. You guys basically support the running costs of this channel. So everyone that sends a tip, it keeps me going. It keeps the roof above my head. I'd like to say it keeps the lights on, but I guess I have needed them a little bit tonight. It's starting to get a bit dark. So it keeps me going. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, everyone. It's super kind of you, and it keeps me going. There are also links where you can buy me a virtual cup of tea or a virtual high five if you don't want to do it via PayPal. The links are in the description and also in the comments as well. And I'm just going to see if I can find something quickly to share with you. Now, this is important, folks. I'm going to be away for the next 2 weeks. So I know, I'm sorry, guys. So we're going to miss the next 2 Kanikapilas. Luckily, Karen's given a little calendar on Facebook where you can see where everything's going to be happening. So we are going to miss next week's Kanikapila and the week afterwards. Part of the reason is I'm going to do a little bit of recording, but also I need to catch up on everything with my own website. I'm doing some big changes. I'm actually migrating it over to an entirely new website. So we need to get that done, and it's going to take a little while. So I'm going to take 2 weeks completely away from teaching next week and the week after. So we will be back on the 7th of August, I believe it is. I'm just looking at my phone. That's what I'm doing now. So back on the 7th of August. I'd love to see loads of you then. So it'll give you a chance. You can always watch back some of the old Kanikapilas, which would be a really good thing to do. Yeah, sort of get some practice in, then we'll be back. All of our old Kanikapilas, if you go to mattsteadukulele.com, all of the old Kanikapilas are there, so you can take part in any of the old ones if you missed them and just kind of enjoy that as well. And we'll be back on the 7th. For the same reason, my next live lesson is going to be in August, so we're going to skip the one that will be in a week and a half's time, and we are going to do it in August, so I can have 2 clear weeks to get a load of stuff done. Then finally, don't forget, this big thing is happening, the Ukulele Festival of Great Britain. You're going to be sick of me saying this over the coming weeks. So I've decided, because I'm a glutton for punishment, to take over the running of the Ukulele Festival of Great Britain. The old folks did an amazing job with it, but they stopped running it about 5 years ago, and I'm bringing it back. I'm really excited about it. So it's in a beautiful 1,000-seater venue, a beautiful Regency Town Hall in Cheltenham, and it's going to happen on the 26th to the 28th of July. 26th to the 28th of July. Now, I'll put the link up as well. Let me type it out because it's a bit long. It's kind of what it says on the tin, Ukulele Festival of Great Britain.com. Ukulele, but apparently I can't spell ukulele. It's quite bad for someone who teaches it 8 hours a day, isn't it? Great Britain. You hear my one-hand typing as well. It's terrible, isn't it? .com. So if you guys come here, tickets are now on sale. And as I say, I'm going to do 2 main tranches, but the first one I'm expecting to sell out relatively quickly because I've got a mailing list, and about double the amount of people are signed up to the mailing list as there is tickets available. So do get in for it fast if you can. And 26th to the 28th 8th of July. Now, immediately following that, we're going to have our lovely ukulele retreat. Oh, I just realised I've got a picture of Town Hall that I had up for something earlier. This is the venue that it's going to be in, the ukulele festival. Let's see if it'll work. There you go. Isn't that beautiful? Beautiful Regency Town Hall. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm really, really excited about that. So yeah, come and join us. Then immediately following that, we're going to have our ukulele retreat. Now, because I put those tickets on sale to you guys and a mailing list first, we've actually only got 9 of those left, 9 places left. So if you're thinking about coming on the retreat, please get in fast because they're running out quickly and I don't want anyone disappointed. So there you go. Oh, Rebecca, that's a great question. So that was me being a complete idiot. When I put the website, I wrote the address out wrong, and I realised that all the links to my email that I put was matt at the ukulele festival of Great Britain.com, and my actual email doesn't have a the in it. So it's not matt at the ukulele festival of Great Britain, it's matt at Ukulele Festival of Great Britain. So long story short, the one on the website is correct now and it will work. So if you've got a query or anything, Rebecca, you can send it on that, matt at Ukulele Festival of Great Britain, and it will come through now. I realised my mistake. Lots of people were saying their email and it was bouncing back. That's all it was. You can always email me at matt@theukeroom.com as well if it's easier to remember, or send me a message on Facebook. I've been a bit overwhelmed by messages, but I'm just getting back to as many as I can over the next week or so. So that's all that I needed to tell you about. So next 2 weeks off, back on the 7th of August for Kanikapila. Get your tickets in for the Ukulele Orchestra of Great Britain. I'll stay around a little while as well, just to see if we've got any questions at all with anything from today. Hope you enjoyed that. So, brilliant. Yeah, thanks, Rebecca. That'd be brilliant. Yeah, no problem. If anyone's got any questions, you can always ask them here as well. If it's nothing personal, let me know if I can help. I'm more than happy to have a go. I'll tell you what I'll do. Whilst I'm waiting for questions, let me show you some photos I took today, because we were talking. Peter was talking about red admirals and stuff. I got some lovely photos today on our buddleia bush right outside. See if I can put them on the screen, because I got a red admiral, which was really nice, and a peacock. There we go. Let's send them. There you go. I'll ping some on the screen whilst I'm waiting, just see if we've got any questions at all coming into the end. It's always a bit of a hangout at the end of these things, so we just kind of chat. There's a red admiral. Beautiful butterfly. That's the underwing of it, which is really, really lovely. That's on our buddleia bush, that one. And then on the same buddleia bush, these all happen within about 30 seconds of each other. Had this gorgeous peacock butterfly that landed. It's a bit of an action shot. That's a bit blurry, isn't it? And then we also got a small tortoiseshell, which is really, really another one of our lovely butterflies. And I think this one, yeah, I got a small tortoiseshell and a bee at the same time, which is quite great, isn't it? How cool is that? So yeah, I love butterfly pictures. If anyone's, I'm a bit of an obsessive butterfly hunter. When I say hunter, I only mean hunting for photos. I never pin them or anything. That's horrible. So just for photos. If anyone's interested in my butterfly stuff, I've got 2 Facebook profiles. The first is Matt Stead, which a lot of you will know me as from here, and that's all my ukulele stuff. So my Facebook profile under Matt Stead is all ukulele stuff. But if you add Matthew Stead with 2 T's, if you're interested, you don't have to be. That's where I post all my butterflies and my personal stuff. So I share my family pictures and pictures of where I'm on my travels and all that stuff. So yeah, and Karen's saying all the things that I forgot to say, and normally Karen and Esther are good at nagging me in a good way for this. So don't forget to click if you could like the actual YouTube video after we finish broadcasting, it really helps the algorithm to pick me up. And if you get time, if you're able to actually just put a little comment on that YouTube video, and a massive thank you to those that have done. I haven't been replying to them, I just haven't had time, but I'm so thankful I do see them, and it's really thoughtful. It really helps the algorithms pick me up. So yeah, if you're able to do that after the broadcast, that's fantastic. And the other thing is just word of mouth as well, which would be great. So yeah. Ah, thank you, Indrani. Thank you. Yeah, James, absolutely. We ship worldwide, so we do have to add shipping on. I think it's about $80 to ship to the States, depending on what it is. But we can, yeah, we can absolutely we can ship worldwide. So if there's something you're interested in, just let me know. Send me an email or give us a shout on here, and I'll let you know. Oh, Karen's got a new ukulele on the way. Very, very exciting. I love it, love it. Yeah, painted ladies are beautiful, aren't they? I've not seen one this year, John. I saw tons of painted ladies last year. In fact, even just on our box bush outside our house, we had some beautiful painted ladies, but nothing this time, which is a shame. But yeah, thanks, Asia. I'll pass all your kind words on to Esther. She'll really appreciate that. I'll send your kind words on because she'll love that. I'm sure we're all sending her virtual hugs, aren't we? So yeah, fantastic. Thanks, Mike. You take care. You have a brilliant couple of weeks, and we'll catch up in 3 weeks' time. Thanks, Indrani. Right, I'm just rambling now, aren't I? So I'll say a goodbye now. I hope you're all doing well. Keep uking, keep spotting butterflies. Send me messages. Get your ukulele tickets in, and we'll catch up in 3 weeks' time. I'll miss you all. I genuinely do when I don't do it. So we'll make sure it's an absolutely super fun one in 3 weeks' time. Sending you all my love, and we will catch up soon. Take care, everyone.